What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to be doing the weekly recap of the stocked up trading floor. The market continued its beautiful ascent to making new all-time highs yet again this week. SPY's over 625, and it should definitely be an exciting week ahead as the reciprocal tariff pause is set to expire, and there's a lot going on with the tariff situation again, as covered in the main channel video. So it should be an exciting week, but looking closer at this week's recap, starting off with the high-risk scalps, I would say it was a pretty good week. On the 30th, we saw some great action out of Hood, SoFi, and T especially, but there were even a lot of other good moves with multiple other stocks. And of course, as always, there were some plays that were just studs, which is expected, but I would say overall, very good asymmetric risk reward. So no complaints there. Continuing on throughout the week, we could see on the 1st, again, lots of good explosiveness. We could see looking at the recap, we saw MSTR, MRK, TGT, PFE, and J&J all have options that moved up by over 300%, which is beautiful, and lots of other good moves all around as well. And of course, a couple stocks that were just studs. They're just moved up in like an okay or mediocre way, but I would say overall, really good, strong movement. Looking on July 2nd, I would say this trend continued as there were a lot of good moves. Looking at the recap, MARA was the stock that really led the way as those options moved up by over 550%. But again, lots of good options with multiple different tickers, and of course some plays just were duds. And then I would say on July 3rd, I would say it definitely slowed down as we were heading into the holiday weekend. Of course, the market was closed on Friday, and then Thursday, July 3rd, the market closed early, so it was a much slower, less crazy day. So there were some good moves, but certainly not like the other days. Then looking at the pullbacks, we could see on the 30th, we had a fair move from Hood, nothing too crazy with pullback trades. They tend to not be as crazy because the strongest trades don't pull back. But the trade-off is that the moves tend to be like slower, smoother, and just like easier to trade. Going on throughout the week, we could see on the 1st, pretty good movement out of MSTR. Those options popped up by over 350%, which is good, and good moves with UNH as well. I would say the rest of the trades were mostly duds though. And then looking on July 2nd, this was the best day of the week for the pullbacks. We could see UNH and Nike both had great moves. NVIDIA and Robinhood, decent moves. And then TSM, I would mostly call that a dud. And then on July 3rd, again, the market was just much slower heading into the holiday, and it closed earlier. So I would say all duds there. But overall, really good week, especially with the breakouts. And then looking at the theta trades, all of them expired for max profit, so no complaints there. If you do not already sell put options, definitely at least look into it because it can open up opportunities down the line. Basically, you get paid to potentially buy a stock that you'd otherwise be happy to own at a price you'd be happy to own that stock at. This is great not only by itself, but also because the options you are selling are theoretically a little bit more expensive than they should be, which works to your benefit. So definitely check it out. It is a great strategy, especially for the long term. And besides that, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend, and let's crush it in the market this week.